Peace, peace. How you feeling?
Man, feeling good, my brother. What's going on?
Welcome to the Oh None Demand Everything podcast.
Oh, yeah, man. Let's get into it.
Brought to you by the Free Spirit Network. Now, when you hear the slogan and the phrase "Oh None Demand Everything," what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Like, what do you think? How do you perceive that statement? Owe nothing, demand everything.
Well, of course, when you owe nothing, you have zero debt. You know what I'm saying? You are in control. Mm-hmm. Self is the master of the destiny, your path, and you demand everything represents pure power. Mm-hmm. When you represent self, you got to represent power behind self. That's one thing that we have to align ourselves, when we're choosing whatever path that we choose in life, we got to make sure that we're the ones with the dominant force. We're the ones in control. We're the ones with the power, and can't nobody tell us nothing. Not at all.
Okay. So kicking it off with that, what can you give some personal, opinions or suggestions off your personal experience on how a person can, be that control factor in their own personal life?
Well, one thing is not allowing external circumstances to dictate how you think. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that when we're growing up, things that we see, the shit that we see our parents do, the things that we see in our environments, when we go to school, we can easily be prone to become a product of our environment.
And repeating it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that type of thing gets lodged in the subconscious, and it's like it's stuck. And people become so comfortable with it, it's like that's them. This is me.
It's normalized. That's exactly. The reality.
Exactly. But the thing is, a lot of what's happened within the mind was like almost created, almost like when you're building, you're creating a game. Mm-hmm. Or anything to that nature. It's like a lot of things that's been put in place by society or whatnot created who you are. A lot of young guys get caught up in the drug game. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff that they see in on the music videos. Mm-hmm. And they want to live that lifestyle, knowing they broke as hell. Mm-hmm. They want to floss. They want to wear this just because Jay-Z's wearing it. Mm-hmm. So it's like now you're a product of that what's been fed into you. Mm-hmm. And they take that and they feel like, oh, this is me. This is what it is. But nah, that's not you. Mm-hmm. That's what's the outside circumstances created you. Mm-hmm.
So it's a reflection of false imagery of what they see. So if they see a Jay-Z on a TV screen, they like, this is what it looks like for a black man from the so-called hood to be successful, right? This is what success look like. This is what it tastes like. These are the things I eat. These are the things I drive. These are the women I date. Things like that, right?
Yeah, but you know what though? The thing is that they're not even conscious and aware of that they've been fed that. No. They think this is me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll debate you all day. Like, oh no, music didn't influence me. This don't, because they don't even know what's going on in here at all.
Because they don't know how to mind. They don't know how the subconscious mind works.
Exactly.
And that whole analogy, as far as, so you're saying that we have a race of people that have artificial thoughts that they actually believe that they're on, right?
Absolutely.
So that's they describe that. That's the concept behind the movie Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Yeah. And that was the whole objective, be of the art of planting seeds of that spark thought that the possessor of the thought truly believes that is his or her own, natural thought.
Right.
It's science.
And they create that reality. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's to where it's surreal.
Yeah. It's like having a malicious farmer. Coming to your farm, your habitat, your mind, and planting the seed and walking the fuck off. Exactly. And then, by nature, your mind is like seeds produce more seeds. They reproduce themselves, whatever like that. So cells reproduce themselves. So now you start planting your seeds on top of the seed that was inorganically planted.
Right.
So it's like
absolutely.
it's easy to understand how most of our people, or we have a race of people that have actual sense of identity crisis or failure to identify themselves. So if a person has a failure to identify themselves, of course, it's a great failure to identify anything outside of self. So, all right, so speaking of that, because I think you're speaking of mainly, I guess, where we're from, which is from the hood, and Chicago. So tell the people, first of all, who you are, where you're from. Of course, I know who you are. You're my brother. So tell the people who you are, those that don't know.
Well, world, my name is Moses Akhom, and I am born and raised Southside Chicago. Hundreds, wild hundreds. That's where.
Wow.
That's the thing is that as I was growing up, I've seen a lot, done a lot, experienced a whole lot. However, I feel very empowered and blessed to be able to recreate who I chose to be.
Right.
And not from what the things that I've seen or the experiences that I've had in the past. I didn't settle with none of that. It's like it's sometimes when you become so fully aware, it's like your spirit begin talking to you. But when you're growing up, it's almost like, because I grew up, man, I was like a quiet kid though. I'm still a pretty reserved, low key, quiet individual for the most part, but it's a lot of things that I remember growing up, certain people like, I didn't want to hang out in the big crowds,
So you enjoy solitude to a degree.
You know what? Me being the only child, it helps.
Yeah,
it helps out a lot, I got an older brother. He was incarcerated.
Oh, okay. So you're saying growing up you were the only child in the house, basically.
Absolutely, right.
As far as getting raised. Okay.
Exactly right. So but that's solitude. My mother, she was a loner herself. So a lot of that was passed down to me. But as far as what I choose to the company that I keep. Something that I choose to keep around me, it's always been, just a small selected few. This was nothing that, like your parents would tell you, hey, don't hang out with him, don't hang out with them. It was something that, my spirit always talked to me as a shorty. It was like, nah, we not gonna dibble and dabble over there. We can chop it up for a hot second. We good. But we're not gonna totally invest our energy fully into these type of crowds. So I was always really reserved. A lot of things that was happening around me. Of course, the stuff you see in high school, growing up, is a lot of that. It didn't really it didn't affect me too much. Okay. I chose the avenues that I did choose. I chose those because of just based off my own individual choice, So, you have ups and downs. Of course, when you kids, you young, you're going to bump your head a few times.
Got to.
So it's, but of course, me growing up on the south side of Chicago, being able to have a balance and being able to know, okay, this is what it's like on this side. So now, now that I have children, now that I can be able to educate them properly without having to have them fully engulf themselves within that environment, but make you aware, and I could pass this information down like, hey, this is out here. I have a daughter, and a son. So especially having a young daughter, she's in college now. She's basically an adult. She's all my baby girl. But at the end of the day, we gotta school our youngins about this world that we living in.
The real world.
Dark.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So you don't try to really hide the realities. You more so try to, train them to be able to adapt to the actual realities of the actual world. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people that have no idea, the actualities on the world that we're in right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen a lot of dark areas in this world. I've experienced that. Of course, when we first started getting down, I was in an era, we were doing a lot of parties. I was formerly like a party promoter. Of course, you remember the party buses. We were really engulfed into like a party lifestyle. And in the party lifestyle, when you're living a nightlife, it's the nightlife.
Everything that, everything that comes with the nightlife.
Exactly. So being a part of that, but one thing about me is like I never did it for entertainment. It was always business. If and that's why I guess I was never really heavily into going to the clubs, because I made sure that that was going to pay my bills. I could party, we can get it in, we can do what we're gonna do, but I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get paid.
Exactly. Okay. So you had a life work balance type thing going on.
Man, hustle the mind. So speaking of hustling and entrepreneurship, let us get a brief breakdown on your certain areas of experience in your hustle and entrepreneurship before the new transition of New Self. Man, well, 19 years old, I got my first apartment in Midlothian, Illinois. I had a little white buddy, so his name is Dennis, and he was heavily connected with a lot of the kids in the neighborhood, He liked being around because he thought he was,
cool.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We smoke, we rapping, we freestyling, but at that time, I was selling weed, but he connected me with all of his all of the friends, all of the kids in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like teenagers that's good that went to his high school. So that was my first dive into the world of hustling. Was basically selling weed.
Gotcha.
I kind of transitioned, and honestly, to be honest with you, I hated it. I did not, because I think it gave me bad anxiety. When I'm driving,
paranoid.
Yeah. I did not like selling drugs at all. That's not my thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it, getting fast money, it definitely programmed. It programmed me to where I'm like, nah, I don't want to work for nobody. You know what I'm saying? I want to get this on my own. So that's kind of how it started. But from there, it transitioned into I was the cable guy. I was a cable guy. I was at got the $40 hollers, $50 hollers type of demonstration
on the Robin Hood deal.
So everything that I growing up, especially in my 20s. It was always had a balance of, even if I was working a job, I gotta hustle though. I have to. It was like a passion. It was something that I love to do. So I always knew that. I honestly, I really wish back in the day someone would have probably really showed me okay, this is how the business game really works. I would have been a beast. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
But we got to learn those things, because a lot of our parents don't understand those things, because they typical 9-to-5 workers.
Exactly.
So yeah. I mean, so we got to kind of, it's hard to because these are the first people we go to for advice. Right, and we think that it's sound advice, until we realize they don't have the experience to give us sound advice in that particular area. You know what I'm saying? In relation to business, entrepreneurship, it was like a fear factor in that, especially back then.
Man, look, I'm telling you, my mama, she wanted me to be a nurse so bad. She was a nurse. You know what I'm saying?
So that was safe for her.
Exactly. When I started to get into the whole world of because it was a point where I had to transition from things of an illegal nature to legal, just based off of, getting arrested. I've had situations where it's like, I gotta chill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Like even with your illegal ventures. So I think that's one of our other common interests was like when I was doing illegal stuff, with drugs and stuff like that. From the day I started my career in that, I automatically had an escape goal. You know what I'm saying? I had a exit strategy. You know what I'm saying? Every day that I sold drugs in the daytime, the nighttime, and I would wake up the next morning and be, applying for jobs. While my buddy and them still, because they feel like this is a career-based thing for them, so they gonna retire or whatever. But I knew it was short term. I remember going up north and just getting transition from. I skipped weed. I did weed for a couple weeks. I'm like, this is not working for me, and I did. And a shout out to TD Tremaine, my buddy Tremaine. He was actually my father's age, so I used to hang around guys my father's age, and he put me up on the crack game. So we chopping up quarters and doing all that stuff, and we went up north to that's where all the white boys and stuff like that was at. And we came back. I remember we had so much money. I was like, dude, all I know is help me make it to the house. Let me get to the house and put the money up. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? All I knew was let's make it home. Let's make it home. Let's make it home. It was like I feel like we made too much money tonight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm like, we made too much money. Yeah. But I'd be, in their mind, it's like, okay, we're back to it the next day. Right. You know what I'm saying? But my mind, I'm at Starbucks filling out the application, trying to make $10 an hour. You see what I mean? I always wanted to make an honest living. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I knew it was longevity in it. You know what I'm saying? But I think I was mistaught and misinformed of being taught that you gotta have to necessarily work hard to get money. That's another misconception. We gotta work. We gotta work smart and strategic.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? To work hard and save money, blah blah. That's still the broke mentality or whatever. All right. So now your early ventures and stuff like that, both legal and illegal. So now when did you become, or when did you start to become Moses Akhom? When was he born?
I remember like it was yesterday. I was parked on 81st, I want to say, in King Drive, and I was waiting for my son to get out of karate class. Sitting there on my phone, scrolling, and I don't know what it was, but my spirit just said, start looking up and researching ancient Egyptian. Mm-hmm. So that's when I first started to just really just dive deep into the history of the ancients, the ancient civilizations, the ancient teachings, the ancient knowledge of spirituality. I was at that point in time I labeled myself as a Christian religiously, but it was something that my spirit said is something else, it's something more. At that point, I began to just dive so deep into spirituality. I and like I said, it was almost to where is when I began to understand that it's more out there than just what I was raised and what I was taught. I came across meditation. I began to practice it regularly, like so much to where I began to have, let's just say, experiences. I began to have outer body experiences. I remember the very first time I had an astral projection experience from meditating, and it's like, I was when this is how I am. I would lock on to something that was like a pit bull. And when I locked on to meditation, I fell so deep into the rabbit hole of it that I had this experience to where when I was going to sleep, I would meditate. And it was a point where it felt like my body was like just stiff and locking up, and then like I would be like in the transition of going to sleep. But when I feel like something was like on my chest, it almost, and I guess with me having a Christian background, the first thing that came to mind was like, it's a demon. It's a
demonic
demon on me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting up, I'm shaking like
trying to wake yourself
up.
up.
Exactly. You know, so that happened twice. And I'm like, yo, hold on. So the only thing though that I can the only way I was able to describe it was body locking up. All right. So you know how it is, you know, when your stomach hurting, whether something's wrong with you, the first thing you're gonna do is get on your phone and you're gonna Google. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? So I typed in my body locking up, and what popped up was a lot of different blogs about sleep paralysis. And with sleep paralysis, it had a connection to astral projection. So now that I consciously knew, okay, you know what? This isn't a demon on me. This is actually me waking up.
Yeah.
You know, so the next time around, I told myself, okay, bro, just don't fight it. Don't fight it. All right. Next time around, I'm doing the same process, meditating. You know, I meditate probably about 15, 20 minutes. And I would just start to drift off. And as I drifted off, my body started to do it again. It started to lock up. And I was about to fight it. And then something in me said, just let go. And when I let go, that was one of the most powerful, most profound experiences I've ever had in my life, because it was like I slipped through a window. And when I slipped through that window, I saw myself laying down. And from there, I shot up like a rocket. It was almost like a missile just shooting up. And as I shot up, I'm looking at the downtown skies, downtown Chicago, the whole skyline. And it was like I felt like a shooting star. And having that experience and being fully conscious and aware at every single moment of it, you know, that was something that I would never, ever forget, you know, because again, it's not like it was just a dream. You're aware of every single moment of it, just as if you're woke, you know, so that did it for me. You know what I'm saying? You know.
So was that the moment where you kind of like, because anytime you encounter something great, you know, by natural human instinct, you want to share with others, right?
Absolutely.
So is that what kind of like, you know what, I wanna you know, share this to the world, type, to as many people as possible. Oh, yeah. So is that what motivated you into the whole meditation aspect of things? Well,
not only that, but I began to see as I dove deeper into meditation, into spirituality. It was a lot of things it was a lot of like the person who I was, you know, anger, you know, I would snap of a finger, you know, if I'm in a relationship and there's an issue and we're arguing, you know, I began to see the differences, because now within that relationship, now that I'm learning I'm learning that the spirit has more control, not the emotions having control over me, but me having control over the emotions. You know, I was able to. It's almost like, you know, when you're arguing with your mate, you know, and they're arguing so much that when as it's hitting you, it's almost to where it was like a bullet, like on the Matrix when the bullet was coming toward Neo, but it was coming so slow to where he was able to maneuver and move past that bullet. So that's how I saw emotions. That whereas instead of me snapping, I had control over self. I'm seeing the emotions come straight to me, and I could take it and I could show it to you like, yo, look what you're doing. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it had no control over me. So I began to see the power that it had, becoming so aware of my thoughts, so aware of my emotions, to whereas, you know, when I started to understand the whole chakra system, and I'm taking things chakra by chakra, from the root to that sacral to the solar plexus, and I'm able to observe and say, oh, I see who you were. Now I see who I am. And who I am is who I choose to create. This is who I choose to be. And I can be whoever I want. It's just almost like just rebuilding everything about me. Mm-hmm. This is where I had, instead of the name, my government name, I can now become who I want to be. Mm-hmm. You know, so, and everybody, we all have that ability. We all have we all have that creation aspect within self, to where instead of us knowing that, okay, growing up, I was taught this. Growing up, I was this. I was this person. But now, and I don't care how old you are, at any given point in time in your life, you can press that button and say, you know what? I don't want to be that person no more. Yeah. This is who I'm going to be, and this is who I am. And you accept that. Mm-hmm. This becomes your this becomes reality. Mm-hmm. Not yesterday, not last week, not last month, not last year, but in this moment right now to the future, this is what it is.
So that goes, so now when you decide to do those things in life, the first thing I think about is the challenges that you go through when a person makes that decision. Because the first thing now when a person makes that decision to say, okay, I want to, instead of doing this and being that, I want to be this. So now you have to, apply certain actions and have certain commitments to those actions over duration of time till it becomes a new norm, right? So the first complications outside of just believing in self and that and new self is the people around you. So how is your experience of acceptance from the people that known the old you? You see what I mean? So the thing about when you got people you grew up with, your siblings, your friends, the homies, the guys, phone them. You see what I mean? They know you as blase blah whoop de woo for doing blase blah whoop de woo. So how was that? How did that work? Because it's a time that goes on before a person. Before these people, because eventually they come around, but in the beginning they don't. They like knock it off. You know what I'm saying? Right. They don't believe you. You know what I'm saying? So share whatever you could share on that.
So with me personally, I always understood the term balance. Because so honestly, I've never really had too much of an issue. Because like I said earlier, I always kind of kept a tight circle. That's just who I was. So, the people that I kept, they were always very respectful to the things that, I was dabbling. Exactly. Because I'm still me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna be, that foundational that person that they always knew and they always grew up with. Because again, like I said, when it comes to the word balance, we can sit down and we can have a very intellectual conversation about spirituality, or we can sit down and we could talk about the past and what we used to do, and I can actually have this conversation with somebody that's still in that without any judgment, So when it comes down to the people that I was surrounded around, it didn't have too much of a major effect, but I knew that who I can be able to verbalize certain things to and who I can't. Yeah. Certain people I can, and I don't think I didn't try. You know what I mean? No, like everybody you're gonna hear what's really good, what's going on. Yeah. But once I'm aware that, okay, this is going over your head.
Oh, you just stop.
This is right. This is over with. But I think honestly, the hardest situation that I've had during that transition was relationships, because growing up you're used to connecting with a certain type of female, certain type of individual, somebody that you're attracted to. Yeah. So
they get more access than a normal person.
Yeah, exactly. So that and being at the time I was married at that time. So it was like the old me
married that current version of
your wife. Right. So my thing was, okay, I gotta transition.
Bring
You
her
gotta
up
bring
into this.
like you gotta rise up with me, you know. But of course, just like how I just said, if you're talking to a friend and they're not getting it, it's going over their head, you know.
No hard feelings, move on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we're just not on that
But
same.
it's a little bit hard when we have emotional ties and legal ties to the individual. So now you put more time, energy, effort, you know, into trying to, you know, break through to an individual for their best interest as well. But what happens is people get the syndrome as if you're trying to change them,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And but at the same time you are, but for the better, because change is a direct relation to growth. Growth and development.
That's
So
right.
in order to grow, you have to change. But people don't want you to be the aspect of their change or the stimulation of their change.
Not at all.
You know, that we have that in the Black culture a lot, you know, with everybody, I think. Somebody in our family or loved ones or people that we date and stuff like that. So that is a deal breaker. So how did you survive that? Because many people don't survive transitioning out and creating that separation because of the love attachment or the legal attachment to the situation in those relationships. So you just have to break off cold turkey or what?
Well, not cold turkey, but it was a slow and steady, you know, departure, should I say?
Yeah.
You know, it's because again, when you're dealing with someone that you do have that emotional connection to, you know, even when you talk about that four-letter word, love.
Yeah.
You know, you can love someone, but at the end of the day, it's all about, hey, you know, are you gonna love yourself enough to allow someone to elevate you?
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people, they're stuck in that I'm content with who I am. You know, again, like you said, you know, don't change me.
Yeah.
Then you have to really look at yourself like, okay, what are you doing now? You know, I have to look at myself like, okay, if I choose to remain with this individual, what does that say about me?
You're gonna be because you can't. It's only so far you can grow with that individual because you can't become one with a person that's not whole within themselves at the same time. You know, we on the same boat. You know what I'm saying? So that's always the conflict of interest with a lot of and usually the limitation with a lot of people because they usually conform to, you know, who they're with. You know, you become your partner in a lot of aspects. You know, how your partner thinks. You know, what they eat. You see what I mean? Yep. And everything. So you know, that's why I kind of I always recommend, you know, as far as choosing factors with so-called dating, but definitely that long-term commitment when you become one with somebody is like when marriage, to make sure you pick somebody for the new you. You see what I mean? And not the current you, because it's just like it makes more sense long term. You know what I'm saying? Unless you were just a person that are just, you're fine. I'm completely fine where I'm at. I got my high school diploma. I got my bachelor's degree. I'm set. I'm fine. I have a successful life. And that's how most people think. Like, exactly. I don't need to learn anything else. Or they don't think somebody that's right next to them can teach them anything, because it's an ego thing. Because they could watch somebody on YouTube that tells them the exact same thing.
That you just, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That you've been trying to program it to them for the past 9 months.
Yep.
And, you know, and so-and-so said it on YouTube, and now they talking about they get it. And it's like, though, that causes another thing. It's like a resentment factor on that, because why am I wasting time and energy? And why is this a competition and ego fight? You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like, you know, with relationships, like, you know, it's like a bucket. So we have to make sure the buckets don't have holes in it. You know, so as I pour into it, that sand into that bucket, I need to make sure that stuff is not coming out as quickly as I'm pouring it into it.
Exactly.
And that stuff, that's the worst feeling ever in a relationship.
It is.
Where you pouring into it and you realize like everything I just poured in is completely just dropped down the middle.
Like, what am I doing?
You know, you do it 1 time, 2 times, 3, 4. Like, come on, man. Come on, man.
Something got to give.
Come on, man. At some point, because a relationship can either heal you, build you, or kill you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Be careful who you relate to. You see what I mean? And love has, if you have to separate, that does not limit your love for these people. That's another misperception. because no, I can't. You know, this is not for us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean I lack any love for you.
Exactly.
I still love you the exact same way.
I love you from a distance, though.
Exactly.
I love you from over there, man.
Yeah, you stay over here.
I'll let you.
You stay over there.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna stay over here.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's just how it has to be because we are in separate spaces as far as life mission.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Exactly.
Life mission has to be aligned.
But you know, the thing is that they don't understand that because the second that you distance yourself, oh, he's a narcissist. He's this. He's that. You know, they think that you're too good for them. You know,
or you won't accept them for who they are.
Right. Exactly.
Come on,
right.
like,
come on now. We gotta. What are we doing now, man?
No, I don't accept you settling for less.
Exactly.
You know, because I have to settle with that as well as your partner.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's easier said than done. Like I said, it's easier when you already separated yourself from that, and now you know before you even go into a new situation what your standards are. You know, these are my standards. This is what it is, and you know, you have a choice. Just like we both have equal power and choices right here. You know, and based upon that will determine my level of commitment. So speaking of that, we got a couple trending topics. Yada Awakening been doing some trending reels lately. He says that a man should pay for a woman, take care of a woman 100%. What you think about that?
Well, honestly, if you know, being in a financial position to where is, you know, hey, I'm free. Mm-hmm. If I'm free, my mate, my woman, she's free also. Mm-hmm. But now we have this empire. Now we have this kingdom. So within this kingdom, we gotta have roles. I have my role, and I have to understand my roles, and she has to understand her roles within the building of our kingdom. In our kingdom, not just financially, but when it comes to the household, who's gonna cook, you know, bills. You know, we both have to understand the roles. So it's almost to where it's gonna always be 50-50 because we're both exerting a certain amount of energy into building this kingdom. Mm-hmm. Now, if you choose to renege on those responsibilities, then that's where the problem comes.
Yeah.
Now, going into the situation, we both have to understand, okay, you know, if I'm good at the hustling, right? I'm good at the sales. You know, I can close these deals. You know, you're great at the organization, you know, structuring and make sure things are in their proper place. The system is moving correctly, you know. So again, when it comes down to 100% of the bills, you know, it's something that we both put in together. Now, again, if you got a situation to where somebody's working a 9-to-5 job, mm-hmm. and another person, you know, they can be, whether they're working a 9-to-5 job or they choose to be a stay-at-home. Now, it's different because if you're working if you're employed, you know, you're not in full control of that financial situation 100%. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because now I have to make that decision. It's either I'm going to be 100%, I'm going to pay these bills and be totally responsible, mm-hmm. or you can get a job, I can get a job, it could be 50-50. Right. But whereas personally, you know, because I am independent, you know, I am an entrepreneur, I am a businessman, mm-hmm. you know, that my queen will also be of me, mm-hmm. an extension of who I am. So if I'm free, she's free, and we're both building and creating together
within the same mission, right?
Absolutely.
So you don't, basically what you're saying is which is something that I 100% agree with, where it's like, I don't believe in the woman leaving outside the house to go punch a clock to work for somebody else and pouring into that when, you know, because that's pouring out of us at this point. You see what I mean? With that same amount of energy, that 8 hours can go over here.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then there's no limitation on your salary at this point.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
we control our own time, and our own mission, our own focus. So, but we'll have a problem with some women that will still combat you on that because they want the freedom to do what they want to do.
Well, again, if you know, when it comes to everyone's different. Let me say this, and
so it's circumstantial.
Facts. Everyone has their own passion. Everyone has their own purpose. So, you know, if your passion and your purpose is, you know, I want to be this. She wants to be this lawyer. You know, that's what she loves to do. You know, now going into this relationship, you know, it comes to a point within communication that, hey, I want to be. You know, I've been dreaming to be a lawyer since I was a baby. I was a kid. You know, if I say, man, I honor and I respect that, right, then that's a choice that I have to make. Right. You know, now if that's a deal breaker for me, then that will have to be communicated
in the beginning.
Right. Yeah. That this is not going to work because I choose to have a queen that's going to also be an entrepreneur and free as I am.
So that'll be circumstantial based upon, because I said what I said, right? But that's depending on what career path she's on too. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because her career path may complement the mission.
Absolutely.
You see what I mean?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's like when it comes down to, you know, that communication is everything. Communication is key. So, you know, again, when it comes down to those roles that we choose to play within building this empire, this kingdom, you know, this business that we have, that's this family, you know, we both have to understand our roles. Okay, baby, what's your passion? What do you want to do? What do you love to do?
Because you got to support it, right?
Absolutely.
You got to support it.
Just as vice versa, you know.
They got to be in it. It should not be, you know, oh, he does that and I do that and there's complete separation between.
Not at all. Not at all. You know, this is something to where, you know, we have to know who we are. You know, and I have to understand who I am and what I love to do and what I want to do and what I choose to do, what's my purpose and what's my passion. You know, she has to understand the same exact thing. This is what, and a lot of times people are still kind of, you know, like
trying to figure themselves out.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Most of the time.
Yep, exactly. You know, so, you know, again, it's very circumstantial to a lot of individuals, but
it's a sensitive spot too. Because everybody wants their own and wants to get there and wants to show somebody that they can do it up by themselves or whatever like that. But partnership is partnership. You see what I mean? Everything has to go within the line of the family unit, the mission. Because what I do affects you and what she do, you know what I'm saying, vice versa. So all those decisions have to be aligned to complement the entire fold. All right. So I agree with that too. I think Yada's message is being misinterpreted because he's purposely doing that though, but I mean, because it get people going. But the thing is that, okay, if I decide to give, if I'm doing 100%, my 100% may be, you know, the bills and whatever, right? Leading the ship, and whatever that entails. But her 100% is, you know, managing the household, you know, the nutritional value of the family, you know, what she's controlling our diet, managing the children and stuff like that, providing the education for the children, or you know what I'm saying, all these different things is a full-time job, full-time task, in which she would have to give 100% in. You see what I mean? So everybody has to give 100. You know what I'm saying? Within their positions and their job within the family unit. So I think with the message that people are talking about, it would just it's missing a lot of context, and it has everybody just against. See, I told you niggas supposed to take care of everything, because Yada was like, a man should not date a woman without giving $100,000. He's supposed to just give her $100,000 cash. I think he was saying but he was actually saying you should only be courting a woman that you're planning on marrying. You see me? And then your woman needs to be set up, you know, to be able to take on the task on being able to put in her 100%.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. Because I can't have the expectations of her being able to put in the 100% that I need her to put in if her time and energy has to go outside of us.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, it's for her to survive.
Right. Absolutely. So it's like, and if I choose you to be, if we choose each other in a way, and if I make that conscious decision within myself to say, this is who I want to be my partner, my life partner, then it's my job. If you're falling, if you're a little off balance somewhere, because nobody's perfect,
right.
But if she's open to accept that and say, you know what, you're right, let me receive what you're giving me so that we can be of balance now. Mm-hmm. A lot of times that when you may see certain flaws or certain benefits within your mate, and you will try to give a certain amount of information, or hey, baby, I think you should do X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, sometimes you can give someone that, and they wouldn't want to know how to receive that information, and hey, this is I'm gonna do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So okay, now we got a problem. Is this a communication issue? We're not agreeing. We're not going along the same lines of us building now.
Do you think the mindset and energy and vibration of people in general is circumstantial based on their environment?
Absolutely.
Okay. So do you think that in Chicago that we have a unique set of women?
You know what? I can say yes. I can agree to that, because again, it's we talked about earlier, being a product of your environment. Honestly, is to whereas when if you're living in a certain environment, a certain area where you hear nothing but just ignorance, screaming, cursing, shooting, you become aligned to that vibration, which is of course of a very, very low frequency.
Very.
Again, now when you got individual that may have grew up in the suburbs, happy home, mom and dad. Yeah, again, this is very circumstantial, very circumstantial. But the odds are that this individual that grew up in that happy suburban home versus this individual that grew up in this single parent home in the projects, you're gonna get a different outcome. Yeah. A very different outcome.
Yeah, different brand, different model.
That energy vibration.
That's already seasoned in certain areas, that has certain things based upon their experience. Just like you don't know what you don't know. So a lot of these things we as a whole have to learn, by going outside of our comfort zone, which many people don't. A lot of people like staying in those dark spaces. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And they want to try to bring you in there with them. You see what I mean?
Man, look, my experience. I know that because I've dated someone, and it's like, hey, we should move out this way. I'm not trying to, I don't get me wrong. I love Chicago
because your vibration. Because you figured out what it's like. Because wherever we at, we're gonna create our space there, right?
Yeah.
To our new habitat. We're gonna adapt to the habitat. But once you realize the environmental control that it has over your energy, and where your energy and vibration has to be in order for you to be comfortable and survive over there. If me and you agree, that's not cool, because that means that in order for me to stay here, my mindset is gonna be in other areas, because it has to be prepared for potential hazards.
Exactly.
Simply because of I'm around hyenas over here. I'm around, I'm around, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're in that survival state.
Yeah. So I can't be as, you know what I'm saying? It's like with all this chaos and just, it don't matter if I stay on a block that's quiet. because I still gotta walk outside, go to the store, navigate through. The vibration is covering this whole area.
Exactly.
You know, it don't skip your block.
Got to get up out of there.
It don't skip your block. Mm-hmm. It's gonna, just like you say, nightlife. Your life is gonna consist of whatever, everything that nightlife brings. You can't skip that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like I had to move and get the fuck up out of there. And it's like, you know, but at the same time, everything is circumstantial, and when you escape one thing, you deal with other things. You see what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's new villains out here. You see what I mean?
It's real, you know, and it's imagine being you know, in the jungle, you know, and you have to navigate your way out the jungle, and you're saying, okay, I'm seeing based off this map right here, we got to go this way. Imagine having your partner telling you, nah, I don't want to go that. Let's go this way. Let's go this. Yeah. You know, it's like, yo, listen, I'm gonna show you this. This is how we get up out of here.
Yeah.
If you got to fight, and we're trying to survive here, you know, if you have to argue about which path you're gonna take, it's like, yo, nah, we got a problem.
Huge problem.
A huge problem. You know, especially, let's just say that you're very experienced, you know, by nature. You have an experience with reading maps. Mm-hmm. So let's say, for example, if this individual had more experience than you reading maps, you might have to be like, all right, baby, do your thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. Just like how you saying it's if she chose to be that lawyer, man, okay, you know what? That's probably a very ideal thing, because that could complement what we got going on. Yeah. But again, once we're making conscious decisions for our safety, and you're choosing to go upon your own understanding and not having enough respect to the individual who has that weight, who has that knowledge in that area. And that's showing you that I've gotten us from that part of the jungle to this better part. So now I can take us to even a better part than where we were before. Mm-hmm. So if I'm showing you this, you're seeing this in real time, but you still choose to say, nah, let's go this way. Let's go this way. All right, you know what? Get your ass by that line if you want to.
Exactly.
I'm out of here, man.